What does the EU's 2020 climate and energy package mean to the industrial consumers?
Yeah, generally the industrial customers understand the task about 2020, and we try to set our results as well and understand it. But generally, for the industry is the most important, of course, the competitiveness of our industry, and we are understanding that these targets stay more expensive, the energy. Generally, if you see the Hungary, that we are just now, we have a very low physical electricity price, but the other parts, as the renewables, about 80% increase the price just now in Hungary, which around the countries a little bit less. For example, in Poland, this is only 12%, and the other cross-financing, which is not very happy, is the industrial customers, especially the energy-intensive customers, because the cross-financing, for example, the heat prices, heat costs, unfortunately, additional 8%, which generally increase and decrease the country competitiveness, especially the industrial customers.
Hungary has to drastically improve its energy efficiency by 2020. In your opinion, which sectors have the greatest potential of saving energy?
On the one hand, I have to say the building sector, because Hungary has a lot of old buildings from 30 to 50 years old, and they need insulation improvements and heating improvements. On the other hand, as an electrical engineer, I have to say, I think that's my duty, the electrical grid. We need some smart applications, smart grid to improve the efficiency of the grid.
How would you summarize the lecture? In your view, what were the most important messages of the presentation?
I would say definitely cooperation. Indeed, we need new ideas, smart ideas, but we need cooperation on all fields, on all the technical fields and between areas, because as we have the lesson learned from several countries, it's quite important to have the cooperation between the fields.
As stated in the 2020 climate and energy package, all of the EU member states should achieve interconnection of at least 10% of their installed electricity production capacity. Do you think this is achievable? What benefits could this bring?
Yes, it is. I'm not expert, but I can imagine it is achievable, and it will definitely bring daily savings in the energy consumption, or it will bring advantages for the customer in terms of getting less expensive energy, for example. And it also will help to keep a healthy energy mix of the countries.
According to the Renewable Energy Directive, Hungary has to increase the share of renewable energy in final energy consumption from 8% up to 13% by 2020. How do you think the Hungarian energy system could reach this goal? On what type of renewable energy developments should be focused the most?
This is a big challenge for the country. We have good trends and sets what we can follow, especially Germany, where the renewables are much higher than in our region. I think that for Hungary, one of the big advantage or one of the big opportunity to follow the photovoltaics. We are less windy, we have less water opportunity, but we have solar, and maybe some reserves or some opportunities in waste to energy.
Carbon leakage is an important problem that the EU has to solve. What possibilities or concepts are there to reduce the EU's carbon leakage in the near future?
From the perspective of research of innovation, of course, that's promoting low carbon technologies. It's one of the most important things to be addressed, not only the policy obligation. So we need, of course, to see in the European energy system technologies which are less harming and are, let's say, less responsible for the CO2 emissions. And I think that with the development of renewable technologies, we are moving in these directions, but not only renewables, but also other technologies which facilitate the integration on renewables in energy system. Storage is the technology of the future. It may change the game, and we are speaking about also introduction of demand response. So these are the perspectives on the future, and of course at a certain point we have to see how CCS can be moved forward. Probably for the next period of time it will be carbon capture use, but in the perspective of 2050, if we still want to have fossil fuels in the energy system, or we arrive to have CCS, it's an option which cannot be neglected.
Another question. What are your first impressions of the Student Association of Energy?
I always appreciate when students are interested to hear about tendencies, to hear about policy, because you are at the moment when you are developing a little bit through the thesis, through the courses you are going to take, what is the direction, and I think that fresh minds with fresh ideas are always needed. And I'm quite impressed. A full room and not a lot of people who left. So I think that you are doing an excellent work, and we need brilliant ideas. We need startups with excellent ideas for the future energy system.